Disclaimer. The comments made in this video are intended solely for entertainment purposes and are not intended to harm or offend anyone.
From absent fathers
and I don't really need him to help. I'm in a financial situation where I don't need his help.
to mental health concerns,
Miss Brink just got done spending 2 or 3 weeks at War Memorial Hospital in the UP, where she was court ordered for mental health help and evaluation.
to claims of fraud.
But the state is alleging some of these payments are fraudulent.
These hearings highlight the complexities of modern family law. Let's starting with a case that challenges a father's involvement and financial responsibilities.
Sent him the Zoom link, and then he told me to tell y'all to call him, and I was like, they're not going to call you. It's your responsibility to be here.
The ex-husband did not attend the court hearing, even though he was aware of it and had been sent the Zoom link. He left communication and responsibility to the ex-wife, showing a lack of involvement.
We're here to talk about your son, Kingston Humphrey. Is that correct?
We did a name change, so it's Kingston Lee Addington dash Humphrey. So we added Addington to the beginning.
You did that after the acknowledgement of paternity was signed, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is Kingston's father?
Spencer Cade Humphrey.
Does he visit with Kingston?
Not very often. I bring them out to his house or his mom's house whenever he asks to call to see him. And I bring him for like 4 hours or so, but I never leave him there overnight or anything. Kingston's never stayed the night there. Kingston's not comfortable staying the night anywhere. So I don't want to do the standard visitation because Kingston's never done that. And Spencer filed this 4 years ago when we split and I left his house out of spite. There was an incident when the reason I left was because he hit me in the mouth. So he filed this, I guess, in a way to just be spiteful. And I didn't want to do any of this because we've been doing the visitation like this for 4 years and it's been fine. And every other holiday.
How have you been doing the visitation, like on holidays?
On holidays, one morning I'll bring him to his family's holiday. And then the next holiday I'll bring him in the afternoon. So we split the holidays, but I bring them every time. And I don't leave them.
The ex-wife, while cooperative, made it clear that she no longer relies on the ex-husband financially. She emphasized that her new partner helps raise their child, and she isn't seeking any back child support.
And has he requested to have visitation by himself?
No, I've offered a couple times, and he was like, no, I just rather you stay. He doesn't really help at all, and I don't really need him to help. I'm in a financial situation where I don't need his help, and he's kind of struggling and he just doesn't care. Kingston's stepdad is the one who helps, and it's really basically his dad.
And is that your husband?
We're common law married, but we're getting married this September to official it.
Okay. How is Kingston covered for health insurance?
He has Medicaid.
Are you requesting back child support or just to start from here?
I'm not requesting anything. I don't want anything from him. No, ma'am.
Now, how are you requesting that the visitation take place?
Just how it is. Basically, every other weekend, he has the opportunity to visit with Kingston for a day, and I'll bring him out there for a day, and then I bring him right back home.
Do you have any safety concerns with Mr. Humphrey?
I mean, he's been physical in the past, but not since we broke up, so I don't think so.
So everything has calmed down since the two of you broke up?
Yeah, he hasn't been physical. We still do fight, but he knows if he was to do something like that again, that I would press charges and put him in jail. So he refrains of any of those actions.
Do you know if he has any other minor children?
He does not.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
And I know you're not requesting child support, but do you know if he's working?
He is working. I don't know how much he makes. I just know he works at some plant or refinery in Baytown. But I don't know the name.
You know what he does at the plant?
Helper. I think a boiler maker or a pipe fitter helper or something like that.
Do you have anything further, Ms. Bronzito?
I do not. I will just tell the court I do not have any proof of wages, which is why I do not have a child support officer here to testify as to that.
And Ms. Addington, the state doesn't represent you. Is there anything else you'd like?
I don't think so.
I am going to find Mr. Humphrey in default. Does he help out at all with making decisions? Like, do you all talk if something big came up, or has he not been involved for the last 6 years?
He's not really involved. He's kind of just like, let him know if something happens. I've asked, like, him to, help out with something. And it's just like, well, I'm broke and I don't have it.
Well, I don't mean
So-
financially. I mean, like if something, like if a big medical issue came up, you'd call him and discuss it, right?
Yeah, I would call him.
And if something like educational came up, like, either could be good or bad, where a decision had to be made, would you reach out to him?
Yeah, I would. No, I try to keep him up to date as possible. What's going on with Kingston?
I'm going to appoint Ms. Addington and Mr. Humphrey joint managing conservators, with her having the right to determine the primary residence.
Will I be able to move out of this county?
Are you planning on moving?
I was thinking about moving to Jefferson County in Fannett or Hampshire. I mean, it's not far from where I'm at now, but.
So I'm going to order that you have the right to determine the primary residence within Chambers or any contiguous county to Chambers.
However, she still expects the father to contribute, even though she hasn't enforced strict visitation rules. She also expressed concerns about safety, particularly around the ex-husband's mother, and requested that visitation be supervised.
For visitation, I'm going to order that he have visits on the first, third, and fifth Sunday. I think he preferred. First, third, and fifth Sunday of the month from 1 to 5 p.m. Those visits to occur at his mother's house, you said?
Yes.
And they'll be supervised by either his mother or you or a competent adult designated.
Oh, I do not want his
Don't stay?
mother.
I'm sorry?
No, I don't want his mother to be a supervised because when she gets home, she drinks.
Okay, I'm going to have him supervised by you or a competent adult designated by you.
Okay.
And you're responsible for driving the child, for picking up and returning. And then I'm going to order child support based on minimum wage. Did you have a specific cash medical request?
$25, Your Honor.
And I'll order him to pay cash medical of $25 each month, beginning March 1st.
Beginning March. Okay, thank you. Court costs by July 31st, Judge?
Yes, and he is ordered to pay court costs by July 31st, 2024. And I'm
So he's going to have to pay child support?
Yes, I believe that parents should support their children. I'm not going to order any back child support. If I didn't already, I'm denying the request for retroactive child support, and I'm denying the request for non-disclosure.
I know he makes more than minimum wage. I think he makes like 40.
He probably does.
He makes like 40 something a year, I believe. I think he's making like 18 an hour, 17.
Ms. Franzetta, do you want to elicit testimony on this?
Have you talked with Mr. Humphrey about what his income is?
I did his taxes a year ago and he made like 40 something. I think it's like 43, but I don't know what it is dollar amount.
And has he talked to you about what his income is now? Is he still working for the same place?
Yes, ma'am. He's still working the same place.
He was making $43,000 last year.
Mm-hmm. I think
Is that gross or net?
That is like, it says wages, tips, and it's like the number one. I guess that would be gross, or maybe I don't know if it's gross or what it comes from.
That was his honest
Pull
W-2.
it on the. Yes. Do I need to pull them up? I can pull it up on the app and get the exact amount if you need that.
No, he asked you to do his taxes. He gave you these documents.
Yes, ma'am.
So that would be $35.83 gross a month, Judge.
Did he get a W-2, ma'am, or was it a different document?
It was a W-2.
I wonder why you all don't have.
I don't know why, but he's not coming up in the system, Judge.
The judge ordered child support based on the ex-husband's estimated income of $40,000 a year, despite his absence from the hearing. Initially, the child support was set to minimum wage, but after hearing testimony, the judge revised the order, setting it at $549 per month.
I'm going to revise my ruling in light of the testimony. I'm going to find his monthly gross. I'm doing it at $40,000 just in case, since it was a little iffy. But it sounds like he made at least $40,000 last year, which is significantly more than minimum wage. So I'm going to find his monthly gross to be $3,333. I'm going to order that Mr. Humphrey pay cash medical of $100 per month, beginning March 1st of 2024. He has no other children, and there's one child before me. So 20% of the net resources, which are $2,743.39. 20% of that would be $549 rounding. So I'm going to order that he pay child support of $549 beginning March 1st of 2024.
What happens if he can't afford it or pay for it?
Based on the testimony you presented, he should be able to. This is based on presumptions in the family code. Is there anything unusual going on with him?
He tells me that he's always broke. I don't know exactly why, but he's always broke, he says.
Did you say $100 medical?
Yes. Do you have any concerns, ma'am, or doubts that he's still earning at least $40,000 each year based on your personal knowledge?
I don't doubt it. I mean, even if y'all could look it up, if it has to be amended later on, if he does make less, but I guarantee he's always made like 40 something.
So yes, that is my ruling, the amended ruling on the child support issues. Just so you know, ma'am, and feel free to tell him I'm an associate judge. So have the right to a de novo hearing before the referring court regarding any decision made by me. So if he regrets his decision of not showing today, he could do that route. He also could consult a lawyer about other ways regarding this matter. But the Attorney General's office is going to draft an order based on my ruling today, and they'll be sending it to me to review and sign off on.
Next up, we have a situation where the child's custody is already settled, but the financial responsibilities are still up for debate. The court hears testimony from a mother who's overwhelmed with existing child support orders and a father whose involvement is barely noticeable.
Christopher Grantham that he was Faith's father, or that he could be Faith's father.
I know he's Faith's father now that Ricardo and everybody else got eliminated. I know that he's a father.
Okay, and when did you tell Mr. Grantham that?
I told him probably like maybe three months ago.
Okay, and do you have any access to any health insurance or dental insurance that Faith could be on?
I don't.
Do you know if Mr. Grantham does?
I don't.
Okay, and do you have other minor children besides Faith?
I do.
Okay, and how many children besides Faith are you court ordered to support?
5.
Do you also have another minor child who lives with you?
Yes.
1, is that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are the 5 others you're court ordered to support, are they all older than Faith?
Yes.
And the child who lives with you, is that child older or younger?
She's younger.
How old is that child?
It should be 8 months. I've already been through CPS and all the other procedures, and I'm doing good. And I tried to send Lauren my drug test, but she wanted one, I guess, for her terms or whatever, but it wasn't good enough. And I'm staying clean.
Have you recently done a drug test for CPS that was clean?
Yeah, I did one.
When was that?
Like 2 months or 3 months ago.
Okay. Are they involved at all regarding Faith at this time?
No, I asked them to see if they could help me with her, and they said that case was closed, and that what me and Lauren have, our negotiation was between us, and that because I went to rehab, I did everything I needed to do. It was just my parole that was holding me back.
And what's Faith's date of birth?
Faith was 7/15/2016.
Okay. By the end of July of 22, had Faith started living with Ashley and with Lauren?
Yes, because I was turning myself into because I had a want for my rest of my parole.
Okay.
I want to say it was like 2 months after. I'm not sure.
Okay. So did you became incarcerated sometime around the end of July 2022?
Yeah.
And when did you get released?
4 months later.
So sometime around November of 2022. Yes. And when you got out, when did you next work?
I was working at University State Park.
Okay. When did you get that job?
Well, that was my last job I had before Taco Bell. I got it probably like as soon as I got out, like November.
Okay. And November, December of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you earn when you worked there?
I was making $12 an hour. I was making a lot more money than I was here.
How many dollars an hour did you say?
I was making $12 an hour over there, and now I only make $10.
And how many hours did you work per week?
I was working about 30.
Okay. And when did you stop working there?
The 1st of July.
July of what year?
July 2024.
Would it have been 2023, the most recent July?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Did you start working somewhere else at that time?
Yes, I started working at Taco Bell.
Okay. And what did you earn when you first started working at Taco Bell?
I made $10.
And how many hours were you initially working per week?
20 the most. 25,
how many?
Like 25 the most.
Is that currently, or was that when you initially started?
That's currently.
How many hours per week did you work when you initially started?
Maybe 20.
Okay. And at some point, did that increase?
No. It's like I make like 20, between 20 hours and 25 the most, but I really don't make 25 hours. I make about
Okay.
20.
There wasn't a period of time around the temporary orders were entered. You weren't working more hours at that time?
No.
Okay. Do you know if Christopher Grantham is obligated to support any other minor children?
He's not. I don't know.
Okay.
I know he has other kids, but I don't know.
And do any of his other kids live with him?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
Okay. I pass the witness.
Lauren, do you have any questions of Ashley?
Just on medical, do you have any kind of allergic reactions to anything, Ashley? Like, are you allergic to bananas or oranges or apples, or have any kind of medication like penicillin, Motrin, anything that I need to be aware of for Faith?
Yeah, I'm allergic to penicillin.
Okay. Any kind of fruits, fish, anything like that?
No.
Okay.
And I'm anemic, and that's about it. Just penicillin.
Okay. And then you told them that you tried to see Faith. The only time that my mom contacted me was when we first got the court orders, but she didn't tell me until like almost 10 o'clock in the morning. So was there another time that you were trying to see Faith and I didn't know, or?
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to stick to the court order, but I understand that you wanted a hair follicle test or whatever.
Ashley admits her struggles, including having other children she's already supporting through court orders. She expresses her willingness to cooperate, even offering to relinquish her rights if it's best for Faith. She's open to whatever Lauren suggests, expresses her gratitude for Lauren taking care of Faith, and offers to help with health insurance.
Lauren, I want to tell you this. If you think Faith is better for you, I'm going to respect that. You hear me? Because I know I messed up in my past. And if you want to, I can't support my other babies or anything else if I got to pay child support. I'm willing to sign up for my rights, and you can go on and let me be a part of her life whenever you're ready. Because I can't do it, Lauren. If I want to move on with my life and do better, and I've got it. And I don't want to fight with you about child support. I don't want to fight with you about seeing her. It hurts me. But I know I don't want to hurt you like that either. And I'm willing to accept that. Okay? I love you and I thank you. I really do. I thank you for being there for her. But I'm doing better, Lord. I'm doing a lot better. I promise I'm done. I love her and I miss her, and I just want to do what's right for you and her. Okay? And if you're ready to take on that responsibility, I'm willing to give it to you because I know you're going to be a good mom. Okay? I know you are, but please don't fight me with this. Please don't.
Your Honor, the state rests.
Okay. Do you have any other questions, Lauren?
On her visitations, can we change it to where I can try to make it to my mom's house in the afternoon on a Saturday?
Okay. Any other? All right. You rest, Ms. Kuntz?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I haven't heard any testimony as to Mr. Grantham's income.
Your Honor, we don't have current income information for him, and I would ask just to base things on a minimum wage presumption. I believe Ms. Perez testified, Lauren Perez, that he had previously worked for her and she was not aware of any physical or mental disabilities that would prevent him from at least working a minimum wage full-time job.
Okay. Ms. Lauren Perez, do you have any other testimony that you would like to share?
Lauren is mostly focused on maintaining her custody of Faith and working out a reasonable child support arrangement. She requests child support from Ashley and Christopher, but also shows compassion, asking for Ashley to only pay what she can. Lauren mentions needing documentation for future travel plans with Faith.
No. Oh, I wanted to know, is there any way that I can get permission to continue to travel with Faith, or even get like a passport? Like if they would get a documentation for them to let me get a passport, like if I want to go to Hawaii or go on a cruise with Faith or something in the future.
And the conservatorship orders that will be rendered should be sufficient. Ashley Perez, do you have any other testimony that you would like to provide?
No.
Okay. Lauren, are you requesting that Ashley pay you child support?
Yes.
Okay. And you're requesting the retroactive child support as well, Lauren?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But is there any way that she could just pay what she can? Because I know she's sounding like she's really struggling.
Okay. Ms. Kuntz, close.
Your Honor, we would just ask the...
Grantham is mostly absent in this discussion, aside from being acknowledged as Faith's father. It's noted that he doesn't provide much clarity regarding his own children or financial responsibilities. His involvement is minimal, with the judge deciding his financial obligations based on presumed minimum wage income.
The court established Mr. Grantham as the child's father, request the court's determination as to the conservatorship and possession and access based on the testimony given today. We do request judgments for what's owed under the temporary orders by Ashley Perez into some retroactive support, requesting retroactive support from both parents, Ms. Perez, back to the end of July of 2022, and for Mr. Grantham, would only request that for the past 3 months based on the testimony of when he was informed that he's Faith's father.
The judge's decision to establish Christopher Grantham as Faith's father solely based on Ashley's statement seems risky. A paternity test would have been a safer, more reliable way to confirm his responsibility before assigning child support or custody terms.
We would just request the court look at things in terms of guidelines on the support, with Ms. Lauren Perez being responsible for applying for a government health plan for the child, and each parent paying $15 per month on medical support.
I do have a question now.
Okay, just a second. All right. Lauren Perez, it's your turn to close, so you can include that question in with it.
Okay, I just want to say, like, I know Ashley's struggling right now, so we could just try to work with her. I'll continue. I'll see what my mom can do, and we can meet up in Wichita on a Saturday. It's just I don't want to take too much time away because I do travel and we have somewhere to be in April. And then also my question was, because I make too much money, and I'm probably going to be gypped out next year. So insurance is going to go $250 or $270 a month because of the categories that they have on CHIP 2.
Okay, so do you pay a monthly fee for health insurance?
Not right now, but I know next year when I have to review, it goes into a review every year. And if I know I'm getting like a pay raise in a few months, and they're already telling me that once I get that pay raise, I'm already docked out of CHIP.
Okay, so once that changes, then you can seek a modification should that change.
Okay.
All right. Ashley, do you have, what are you requesting, or do you have any further statements that you would like to make?
I'm willing to go with whatever Lauren says. I support her, and I just want to be a part of my daughter's life. And if I can help her with the Medicaid by putting her on, I don't mind. But I don't want to get in trouble because I don't mind claiming her so that I can get her Medicaid and her dental, whatever. And I could just say that she lives with Lauren, but if it's up to her. I'm willing to help any type of way because I know it's expensive. And I thank you, Lauren. Thank you. I promise you, I'm doing better. I'm gonna keep doing better. I promise.
All right. I do find that Mr. Grantham is the father of the child. He will be listed as the father of the child. However, the child's last name will remain Perez, the same as it is now.
The judge agrees to allow Lauren to continue traveling with Faith under the current conservatorship orders. Finally, the judge gives both parents a 48-hour notice requirement for visitations and splits court costs between Ashley and Christopher.
I'm going to order Lauren Perez as the sole managing conservator of the child. Ashley Perez and Christopher Grantham will be ordered as the possessory conservators. Possession and access between between the child and Mr. Grantham will be by agreement of Lauren Perez and Christopher Grantham. As to possession and access between Ashley and Lauren, they too will be by agreement. However, I will set those possessions to take place at Lauren Perez's mother's home. As to the drug testing, I will grant the request for drug testing on both of the parties prior to possession and access being exercised. I will also order that any possession and access be confirmed by either by Mr. Grantham to Lauren Perez and by Ashley Perez to Lauren Perez, so that those can be scheduled and set up based on whatever is agreed to by those parties.
Okay.
As to current child support, Ms. Coots, do you have any information as to Mr. Grantham having any other children?
Other than the testimony of the parties, no.
Okay. I will order Ms. Perez to maintain health insurance through a government health insurance program.
The judge orders both Ashley and Christopher to pay child support, $225 per month from Christopher and $150 per month from Ashley. Ashley is also ordered to pay $2,000 in retroactive child support with a payment plan of $15 per month. Additionally, both are required to contribute $15 per month for medical support.
I will order Mr. Grantham to pay $15 cash medical support beginning April 1st, 2024. I will also order Ms. Ashley Perez to pay $15 cash medical support beginning April 1st, 2024. I will order Mr. Grantham to pay $225 per month in current child support beginning April 1st, 2024. I'm not ordering any retroactive child support for Mr. Grantham. As to Ashley Perez, I'm ordering $50 per month, $150 per month current child support beginning April 1st, 2024. I'm ordering $2,000 retroactive child support, and that will encompass the support that was set previously. So the total judgment amount will be $2,000 for child support, and the payment towards that judgment of $2,000 will be $15 per month beginning April 1st, 2024. Court costs will be assessed against Ashley Perez and Mr. Grantham, each to pay half of the court cost. I will grant the non-disclosure for Lauren Perez. Does that address the issues, Ms. Kuntz?
Yes, Your Honor, it does. And I apologize. What was on the notice requirement? What was the time for that, for the visitation?
48 hours.
48 hours. Okay. Thank you. I apologize.
All right. Any party, that I believe that addresses all the issues before the court. Any party can ask for a new hearing on any of those issues that that I've ordered on today by filing a trial de novo with the Wilbarger District Clerk's Office within the next 3 days. It must be in writing. It must specify the portion of my ruling in which a new hearing is being requested, and notice must go out to all of the parties on the case. Ms. Kuntz will prepare the order that I've rendered today, submit it to me for signature, and copies will go out to all of the parties on the case. One thing I would like to note on the $150 per month cash current child support, a deviation was taken into consideration should Miss Ashley Perez have to travel to where Lauren Perez resides to visit the child, if that is the agreement. Okay. All right. That concludes today's hearing.
As we move to our next case, the stakes get even higher when safety concerns come into play. A father expresses deep fears about his son's well-being during visits with his mother, leading to a call for supervised parenting. Mr. Mason claims his son was left unsupervised during a visit with his mother, leading to a frightening incident where the child climbed a tree to escape her, while the mother, Ms. Brink, claimed they were just playing tag.
Mason, would you please raise your right hand?
I do.
All right. So you received this show cause violation, sir?
Yes, sir.
It indicates that you have denied some parenting time. What is your response to that, sir?
I have denied parenting time to the effect that Miss Brink has been heavily struggling with mental health issues. And the last visit my son had on April 14th, he called me in tears to come pick him up because his mom was chasing him around. He said he was afraid she was going to kill him, and he had to climb a tree to get away from her.
That was in April, sir?
Supposed to be supervised by her parents. According to my son, nobody was supervising, and that I know of, she has nobody to supervise the visits.
That's going to be my next question, is that the supervised visits are still ongoing. Is that correct?
No, they're not.
All right, let me talk to him, Ms. Brink, and then I will get to you. So, sir, do you believe that the supervised visits are still ongoing, or that is no longer the case?
There's nobody to supervise them, Your Honor.
Well, I'm asking you if you think the order indicates that there must be supervised visits at this time.
Yes, there must be supervised visits.
Isn't it
according
true
to
that you had? Hold on, ma'am.
Okay.
Isn't it true you had a mediation agreement at one point, sir?
Yes.
Right. So I see that mediation agreement. It indicated that there's an agreement to continue supervised visits until Chelsea is no longer on parole. And it says she agrees to work on obtaining a letter regarding her ability to care for a child. Supervised visits from 4 to 7, and then another mediation in 6 months. So, sir, is it your position that that agreement is that supervised visits would continue after that 6 months when she was off parole?
Yes.
And did the two of you ever return to mediation to have any other discussions or not?
No.
So what is your position at this time then regarding parenting time?
I would agree to supervise parenting time if it's through an agency that is capable of supervising. She has the same agreement with her daughter.
Have you filed any motions after this happened to change parenting time or address these?
I have not.
So it's your position at this time that you're not going to allow any parenting time until there is supervised parenting time, but you do not want it supervised by her parents?
As far as I know, they were not supervising. Nobody was.
Yes, they were.
Do you know how long that was going on for?
A couple of months.
They were always.
So,
Ms. Brink, hold on. Ms. Brink, several times I've asked you just to hold on. You're going to have your turn. So when you chime in, it's not helpful. Okay. Thank you. All right, Mr. Mason.
So, Your Honor, that last time on April 14th, I asked my son when I picked him up, I said, well, what did your grandpa and grandma do? Because she was laying on the ground pretending to be dead a couple of times, according to my son. And he said that his grandfather came out of the front door, yelled, "What are you doing?" and then went back inside. So as far as I'm concerned, there was no supervision of the visit.
It was at their residence though, when they were present?
Yes. Yeah. But they remained inside for an hour while this occurred. My son told me he climbed 30 feet up a tree to get away from her, and there was no intervention from her parents.
And your son is
9.5.
9.5 this time. All right, thank you. Ms. Brink, could you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
So let's start first with this incident that he's claiming that is being alleged on April 14th. Do you have anything you want to say regarding that?
Yes.
Okay. What do you want to tell me?
Ms. Brink denies the father's claims, saying they were playing tag and the boy climbed the tree on his own. She insists her parents were supervising the visits and believes that supervision was no longer necessary after her parole ended. However, she agrees that her visits have been supervised up until that point.
We were playing tag.
Okay. Mr. Mason has raised an issue that your son was scared and he had to climb up a tree and was worried that you were going to hurt him. Is that accurate, inaccurate?
No, that's inaccurate.
What was going on, man?
We were playing tag and he made a decision to climb a tree.
And how about to the allegations that your parenting time is not being supervised?
My parents were always present.
And all of your visits?
Yes, sir.
And you've not had any visits then since that time in April, is that correct?
Correct.
So you agree that supervised visits are still required, or do you disagree with that?
I was under the impression that the supervision ended at the end of my parole.
All right. But have your visits been supervised even after parole ended?
I lived with my parents, so yeah, they were there.
All right. Do you still live with your parents?
No, sir.
Pardon?
No.
You do not? Okay. If you had parenting time that needed to be supervised, who would supervise your parenting time?
Well, prior to the end of my parole, Bill was supervising them or my parents could.
I think what we need to do is probably have an evidentiary hearing. I think we need additional time to address these matters and perhaps have some testimony from some other individuals. I think it'd be helpful if Mr. Mason's alleging there's been lack of supervision. It would be helpful to have Ms. Brink's parents.
The judge listens to both sides and decides more evidence is needed. He plans to hear testimony from Ms. Brink's parents and interview the child to get a clearer picture of what happened. The judge schedules a hearing for September 13th and advises that the child's visits could continue at a supervised facility like Safe Haven until the matter is resolved.
Able to testify as to whether or not they've been supervising during those times. What I'm going to do is set the matter for a 1-hour evidentiary hearing on September 13th at 11 a.m. That'll be by Zoom. Ms. Brink, do you see any issue in having your parents appear by Zoom that day to testify?
No, sir.
Is there any request from the parties for me to do a interview with the minor child?
No, sir.
No, Your Honor.
Mason, would you like me to speak to your child regarding his preference? No? Okay.
Excuse me, I didn't hear that part.
Well, do you want me to speak to him regarding his preference in this matter?
You could.
Okay.
That's fine.
I mean, given his age, I think he's able to express a preference and shed some light on the situation. So I would do a interview with the minor child at 10:45. Someone would need to bring him here to the court that is not going to be involved in the hearing so that I can meet with him at 10:45.
Okay, I can make arrangements for that.
And then just again, Mr. Mason, at this time, you are not willing to have her parents supervise time. You want an agency?
Yes. Again, she already has meetings set up with her daughter in Traverse City once a month for a supervised visit. And to give you a little background on why I'm as staunch as I am on this, Miss Brink just got done spending 2 or 3 weeks at War Memorial Hospital in the UP, where she was court ordered for mental health help and evaluation. She's only been out for about a week. Just to give you some background on why I've done what I've done.
But that happened after the fact.
Well, obviously, that impacts what we're going to do moving forward potentially. So, Ms. Brink, are you having some visitations at Safe Haven in Traverse City with another child?
No, I am not.
Mr. Mason, is that what you thought? She was doing it in Traverse City at a facility there?
Yes, that's where it's set up.
Ms. Brink, is that not accurate? Is it a different facility or there's nothing set up?
Those visits have also been, I also filed a motion on that matter also, sir,
All right, what county is that in?
at Seago.
So, Mr. Mason, what I get from you is that you are requesting some type of modification to the parenting time given the recent changes. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So at the hearing on the show cause, we'll also address that, whether or not the parenting time should be modified. So both parties should be prepared to make any arguments they want to make on any modification to the parenting time. It sounds though, Mr. Mason, that if she were able to set up some time at Safe Haven prior to the hearing, you would be okay with that. Is that correct?
Wouldn't that be going back?
Yes.
So, I'm not in a position because we haven't had a full hearing to make a determination as to what should happen at this time. But I will indicate, Ms. Brink, that Mr. Mason has said that if you do set up some time at Safe Haven, he would be willing to accommodate that. On the 13th, we'll determine whether or not his denial of parenting time is with or without good cause. If it's without good cause, then there would be makeup parenting time ordered. If it is with good cause, there would not be makeup parenting time. But in the meantime, it sounds as if at least there is a way to have some parenting time prior to that hearing if it were to go through Safe Haven. So we're going to adjourn this matter then to an evidentiary hearing on September 13th to address the show cause as well as to address whether or not it is appropriate to modify the parenting time. You have any questions, Mr. Mason?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Brink, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you both for appearing. That does conclude your matter.
Finally, we take a look at a father who's unable to meet his child support obligations because of a prison sentence. What happens when someone serving time faces claims of fraud and domestic violence? Here, the court is dealing with a child support case involving Mr. Marcos Martinez and Ms. Denise Pettis, who have 3 children together. The case is about modifying the child support Mr. Martinez has to pay, as he has not been following the previous court order.
There are 3 children in this case, and Mrs. Denise Perez is present. Marcos Martinez, okay, you say he was not here, so he failed to appear. What do we show
Yes, sir.
service?
He was served on or about December 30th, 2022, and that executed citation was filed on or about January 13th of this year.
He is not present. He has defaulted, and it's a motion to modify. Back in 2018, he was ordered to pay $154 beginning November 1st. He was also ordered to pay medical support of $27, and we're talking for 3.5 years ago approximately. And up to now, at the time of filing, he has no arrears. At the time of filing, I don't know what's happened since October of last year, but he has no arrears alleged at that time. So go ahead and proceed, State.
Yes, Your Honor. Can Ms. Pettis be sworn?
Yes, Ms. Pettis, raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear testimony you're about to give shall be truth, the whole truth?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. State's going to ask you some questions. Go ahead, State.
Ms. Pettis, if you would please state your name.
Denise Pettis?
And you're the mother of the children in this case, is that correct?
Yes.
And I'm going to show you the pay record in this case, okay?
Mr. Martinez was ordered to pay $154 per month in child support and an additional $27 for medical support back in 2018. The court notes that he is ahead on payments, but the state alleges some of these payments are fraudulent, possibly due to Social Security fraud.
So let me know when you can see it. Can you see the pay record?
Yes.
Okay. And it shows that you've been getting weekly payments pretty consistently. Does that sound
Yeah.
about right?
Mhm.
Okay. Now you see how some are different amounts and they come out within the same couple days of each other? So right now it shows that Mr. Martinez is paid ahead, but the state is alleging some of these payments are fraudulent. So are you opposed to us offering the exhibit into evidence at this time? As of February 28th of this year, is zero judgment rather than giving him any credit for the future pay amount that it shows.
So that's as of 2/28, he has a 0 arrears.
Yes, Your Honor.
A 0 based on Social Security fraud. Okay.
And Ms. Pettis, you were not aware of where Mr. Martinez is currently, is that correct?
No, I do not.
Okay. But in speaking with our office, you've come to understand that Mr. Martinez is in prison. He's in TDCJ?
Yes.
Okay. So I talked to you actually about what we do. We modify the child support to 0 until he's released, basically. And you understand that's why we're here today?
Yes.
Now, we also have a request for a non-disclosure where you don't have to put your name, your address, your phone number, or your employer within the court order. Are there issues between you and Mr. Martinez?
Ms. Pettis mentioned that Mr. Martinez hasn't been involved in their children's lives for years, and that she's unaware of his current whereabouts until she learned about his incarceration. She expressed concern about domestic violence from their past relationship, leading leading to her request for a non-disclosure order.
Previously in the past, there was domestic violence when we were together before we separated, so that's the reason.
And ma'am, has he visited the children since this order was entered back in 2018?
He hasn't seen the children, and I think my youngest son is 7 years old, so he last saw him when he was like 2 months old.
Mr. Martinez is currently serving a prison sentence for a serious crime, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and he won't be released until 2031. He hasn't had a job, and the court based his original child support payments on his Social Security income, which is why they were low. The state believes some of the payments he made were fraudulent. He has not been involved in his children's lives and hasn't contacted them in years.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
How about the oldest, Desiree and Daniel? They were they raised with their daddy?
In and out of their lives, sir.
In and out, but he was in their lives. And do you know why he's in jail?
No, I do not. I haven't spoken to him in years.
Years, okay, well, that's his fault. And can you tell me why child support was set so little for 3 children, 154?
I'm not really too sure. He doesn't want to look for a job, and they just use his Social Security.
But you don't know why it was set at 154?
No, I do not.
Your Honor, I think it's because his only income was Social Security. So, that it's one of those cases where he may have worked on the side, but his only provable income was Social Security.
Right.
So some type of disability or children get something or what?
Well, it's not
150, but 154. Why was it set so low? I still don't get why it was set so low. Why isn't he working to support these 3 children?
He was getting like $600 or some odd dollars in Social Security, so that's what the court based it off of, I think.
Again, it's been a while. Yeah,
and then I show that he's so to answer the court's question, he's in with for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and his expected release is not till 2031.
This case highlights a sad reality for families affected by legal and financial challenges. On one side, Ms. Pettis is raising her children with very little support, both financially and emotionally, from Mr. Martinez. She's doing the heavy lifting as a parent, and despite the small amount of child support she was supposed to receive, it hasn't been reliable or sufficient. It's frustrating to see that $154 for 3 children was all that was ordered in the first place, which doesn't even come close to covering the actual costs of raising kids.
You see, so all right, so you see what's happened at this time, Mrs. Perez?
Yes.
The child support is just increasing, even at 120, 154, it's increasing, and he has no income right now, and that's his own fault. But he does have no income, and hopefully when it gets out, they can bring it here and see why it shouldn't be increased. But we'll see what happens in 2031. He's going to be in jail quite a while. For the time being, child support and medical support will be modified to 0, effective on 3/1 until the first day of the 3rd month after he gets out. Then the child support will be reinstated. Okay, he'll have the obligation once he gets out, and by that time the state may bring him in to modify to increase it at that time, depending on what happens. But for right now, that's the order of the court as far as the child support. He is behind child support, he is not behind because of Social Security fraud. So he has no arrears as of 2/28. No arrears. Court costs will be waived. Obviously, it's brought on his behalf because he's in custody. So court costs are waived. If there's any balances, let execution issue.
Yes, Your Honor. And then the non-disclosure?
Non-disclosure be granted. She has some concerns about her safety, the fact that there was some violence in her relationship. So non-disclosure is authorized.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, and the charge that he has pending is aggravated assault.
It's a violent offense also. Okay, but for those reasons, non-disclosure is authorized. He hasn't looked for his children since a substantial period of time, and when he gets out, he's going to have to come to court and remedy that if he really wants to do that. But that's up to him. Is there anything else, Ms. Pettis?
No, that's it.
That's the order. You receive the order right within 30 days, ma'am. Thank you for having appeared this morning.